Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Nuria. Today I'm going to talk about how to use your emotions to fuel success. Now, we have been trained to believe that we should not be too emotional, we should not be too sensitive, that having emotion is a weakness. That is all garbage. Your emotions are parts of you, and you need to learn to feel them all without judgment. It is not having emotion that makes discipline difficult. It is avoiding emotion. When you tend to judge yourself, for example, when you are feeling bored, if you call yourself lazy, when you are feeling lazy, if you call yourself lazy, when you are feeling unmotivated, if you call yourself lazy, you are judging yourself. So this is what you need to do. Remove judgment completely. Accept the emotions as parts of you. They are. The emotion is an information. It's information and it is parts of you, and it's going to be always there. So what you need to do is change the way you see them. Start shifting from judgment to accepting. And that means that starts with changing how you speak to yourself when you are feeling those emotions that make you uncomfortable. The next time you are working on a project, if you feel unmotivated, tell yourself, show up for yourself unmotivated. Show up for yourself angry. Show up for yourself sad. Show up for yourself tired. Show up for yourself exhausted. And notice how you feel. The resistance to avoid the emotion slowly fades. The resistance to not feel the emotion, it fades. And the more you do this, the more you see yourself that you become unbothered. You don't engage on judgment. What you do is you can notice what you are feeling. I'm feeling bored. And still do the work. Bored, do it. Tired, do it. Exhausted, do it. Unmotivated, do it. Sad, do it. Angry, do it. Afraid, do it. Doubting yourself, do it. You don't believe it, do it. Action increases momentum. And feelings, when you start to embrace them, your relationship with them changes. And they become less of a block. Your self-discipline becomes smooth. You don't fight with your emotions. You don't engage in a battle. You don't dehumanize yourself. You are human. You are allowed to feel all the spectrum of emotion. It is nature. You are allowed to feel the various range of emotions that you have, all of them, all the colors. And when you feel them all without judgment, you don't engage in beating yourself up, in judging yourself up, rising your scores high and low based on how you feel. No. You see yourself as worthy all the time. Whether you are feeling low or high, you still are worthy of unconditional love. So you still are worthy of being spoken in a nice way. You still are worthy of and allowed to feel all of the emotions and still show up for yourself and do the thing you want to do. And now, one thing, we talked about acceptance, accepting and embracing the emotion, not judging them. Then the second thing is using them to fuel success. Now, for example, you are afraid. You challenge yourself, you want to work on a project. Parts of you doesn't believe. You are afraid. Let's say you are working on that project and you fail. Now, when you fail, you might feel anxious, fear of mistake, or fear of failure. So the way you talk to yourself in this time, it changes everything. But how do you turn that emotion into fuel? You need to understand the origin of that feeling. That feeling did not happen by accident. Naturally, every child is born fearless of failing and mistakes. By nature, we are born believing in ourselves and believing in God. Later in life, how people treated us, our guardians and so on, society, we start adjusting, tuning ourselves, hiding parts of ourselves to fit in the narrative of others. And now when you go back to your inner child, to early childhood, if you were abused by one of the guardians, when you made a mistake, when you failed, you were harshly criticized, this script is in your head. So when you are failing, when you are making a mistake, this anxiety that you are feeling, it is not something bad. It is telling you, this is how I was treated. I don't feel safe failing. I don't feel accepted. I don't feel worthy of unconditional love when I fail, when I make a mistake, because the love that was given to you was conditional. So you need to change that program. You need to be sitting with your inner child while doing this project, while you are working, while you are feeling the fear. You need to soothe yourself. You need to go to that root and turn this. There is injustice that's been caused. If your father punished you when you made a mistake, your father was inhuman. Your father lacked humanity. It is human to make mistakes, to fail, and that's how you grow. So your father, instead of maturely dealing with his own insecurity, projected it onto you. And that became a wound. So now, don't beat yourself up. Don't feel ashamed for feeling anxious. Instead, go to that root and speak to yourself nicely. And awaken these parts of you that was punished for making mistake, for being human, for failing. So when you start using that anxiety, that fear of mistake, that fear of failure, when you trace it to its root, you awaken parts of you. Then anxiety or the fear of failure doesn't become something that blocks your success or your growth. It becomes something that connects you with the parts of you that were hidden. This fuels your success more. Next time, this pressure is going to be less. So the more you work on this, the more you connect with your inner child and awaken these parts of you that were punished for failing, for making mistakes, for not meeting expectation. When you awaken them, when you encourage them, when you parent that inner child and tell her it's okay to fail, it's okay to make mistakes, it's human, you change the narrative. When you change the narrative, now challenges, will you still fail? Yes. Will you still make a mistake? Yes. Now, but the approach is going to be different. That failure, that mistake is not going to be something you want to run away. It is going to be something you see it for what it is. That it is a process. It's a pathway to learning. So this resistance becomes less and less and less. The more you embrace the shadow, the more you integrate the shadow, the more that you awaken the parts of you that were punished, that were hidden, the more you feel confident and comfortable in your own skin. The more you feel natural to push yourself, to follow your dreams, to aim high fearlessly. You do not avoid doing something, aiming high for fear of failure or fear of mistakes. You see it for what it is. You throw away the weight that wasn't yours, that you were carrying, to that owner. And you heal that wound that they created. Another thing is anger. Now, if you have been abused as a child, for example, you try to correct your guardian. They made a mistake and you corrected. Let's say they were going to beat your mother, or there was some need that your father was not willing to give, and you asked for the need. Now when you ask for the need, your father, instead of giving, and when he doesn't want, instead of saying no, instead he turned into violence. He did not just say no, he beat you up. And now what happens is you learned to hide parts of you. You learned to suppress your needs, because each time you ask for your need, you'll be punished. So you started minimizing yourself, and this became a pattern. Now, this anger, you're going to feel it as you're working on the project. So trace back to the past, to the moment you were abused. For doing the right thing, for speaking the truth when you were abused, return to that moment and feel how that treatment made you feel. See, when your father is abusive, irresponsible, he blamed you for his own dysfunction, for his own insecurity, and he did not correct himself. So you carry that weight. You need to throw that weight. So now you can, once you understand this, the origin of this anger, that is a call for justice, you will integrate anger into something that fuels your success, into having a strong boundary, into saying no to distraction, into saying no to the voices that tell you you can't do something, into the voices that tell you you're not good enough, you can't achieve this, and so on and so on. So use your anger to fuel your success. Next time when you're working on a project, if you feel angry, you're going to pause and to trace that anger, where it came from, how it made you feel. How has it made you feel being treated that way? And so how do you want to show up for yourself as a parent now for that inner child, so that that inner child feels seen again and valued and protected and safe to show up authentically? So use your emotions to learn more about yourself, about your early childhood. Your early childhood shapes your identity. How you show up for yourself in the world, what you tolerate and what you do not tolerate, all of it comes from the program in the early childhood. And the more you learn about yourself, the more you use your emotions to trace back into childhood memory and integrate the parts of you that were hidden, the more you become authentic. And the more you show up yourself authentically, the less you be intimidated by your feelings. Your feelings were carrying information, so you are using them to do more success. So anger is reminding you, you can use your anger to fuel the success. If somebody called you, you don't deserve this. No, I deserve better. So use your anger, be angry and piss it off at your father for mistreating you, and turn that into pushing yourself to rise above that limitation he set for you. So by learning, by feeling the emotions, by tracing back to early memories, by learning the information, by extracting the information they give you, and by doing the amendments that need to be done, the acknowledgement, the releasing, you can use your emotions to fuel more success, to fuel success, to be more aligned with your life purpose, to be more disciplined. Instead of seeing them as enemies, now you become whole. If this has resonated with you, for more like this, click on subscribe, like and share. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.